Hey, I hope everybody's having a good day, and if not, I hope it gets better. All right, this is totally um off the rails for me as far as the channel goes, but my brain's weird, so get over it. So, you know, I hang out with military dudes, you know, Iraq 2.0, war, Afghanistan, and everything else. And they were always going off about how Al Qaeda, the Taliban, the Sunnis, Shias, whatever, do stuff. And this is not pointed towards you guys. I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. But this is pointed towards the general public. And it's a little jaunt through history. Um, you want to know where a lot of Muslim terrorists got their ideas from? It was the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. Oh, and modern America drone strikes. I'm going to get into all of it. Um, okay. So the Irish Republican Army back there in the day, modern history, by the way, this isn't ancient history, happened in my lifetime. Some of the stuff they used to do was just wow. For instance, let's take a look at what was called cul-de-sac bombs. So a report would be set out, and British troops went in there, and the IRA had set up explosives in the storm drains. Yeah, and the second those trucks pulled in with the British troops, the IRA set them off. So what did the British military go? Well, we'll use helicopters. Well, guess what happened? And this is actually important to modern history. So hang on. What did the IRA do? Well, they had this little thing called the Irish mob in Boston, and they sent money to the IRA. And then the IRA would use that money to buy rocket propelled grenades, RPGs, Russian made, from Omar Gaddafi and other people in the Middle East. And so when the British military went, we'll move troops through helicopters. Well, the IRA had RPGs. Their tactics changed instantly. And that actually leads me back to a modern story. You ready for this? Boston bombing, the Sundayev brothers. All right. Now, I'm not going to look this up. We'll just stick with this little thing throughout the whole entire story. Because, yes, he was murdered when he was on. And his body was sent to Buckingham Palace, if I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong, but if my history is correct, which it may not be, yeah, they found him in pieces, thanks to the IRA. Louis Mountbatten's, whatever. It's British. So, anyways, the Tsarnaev brothers set off their bombs during the Boston Marathon. And I remember this because I was surfing the internet during this and was in the comment sections and conversations with some of the British people. And a good majority of them, whether you like it or not, and go look this up, were like, well, fuck those people in Boston. Because of the Boston mob, it killed my kid during the war with the IRA. As I told these military guys, a good thing that the terrorists, whatever you want to call them, did in Iraq and Afghanistan is when they stacked up. All right. What stacking up means is they're all lined up in a row, ready to do a breach into a building, right? And what the Muslim extremists, terrorists, heathens, I don't care what you call them, what they do after they learn their tactics were to place bombs in the walls and at the doors so that when they were all stacked up, ready to entry, as soon as they hit that door, the bombs in the walls went off. Again, that's not new. The freaking IRA did that, dude, to the British. I'm not laughing at that horrible thing that happened. I'm laughing because this isn't new. And the US military didn't know about this, didn't study about this when I've never been in the military, right? And I was like, well, that's just what they do, man. They know your tactics, they learn your tactics, and then they take advantage of those tactics. And so I guess I'm blaming the military brass because they're so stupid to a certain extent. But hey, let me tell you something else the IRA did that the U.S. military adopted in modern formation. All right. So, and these guys and I were talking, and they know the U.S. military did this. So, piss off. All right. What would happen with the IRA is they'd set off a bomb, right? And then troops, police officers, EMTs would show up, right? And then they'd set off the second bomb, killing them. Now, the US equivalent, and if you don't believe me, you go look this up. Again, I don't do your homework. You go look this up because it's fact. What the US military would do is they'd fly around a drone, they'd strike a target, and that drone would just stay there and stay there. And then people, EMTs, other probably terrorists, and I'm not saying they wouldn't, terrorists would show up and go, and then they'd shoot a second Hellfire missile. There were literally EMTs that were in Iraq and Afghanistan that wouldn't show up to places that have been droned by it. Why? Well, because we're not going to get blown up the second time after that happened. So basically what I'm saying is, this isn't anything new, man. This has all happened before. And I am just totally flabbergasted that our generals and everything else didn't know this was going to happen. I'll tell you a little story, right? And you can go look this up. And my wife was just shaking her head at me because, no, during the Iraq War, I mean, I was like, God, you got to come see this. And it was an M1 A1 Abrams driving down a street during Iraq 2.0, right? And an IED went off. Go look this video up on YouTube. It literally blew the turret sideways when that IED went off. And I laughed. And I did. And she looked at me like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Because that's nothing more than some artillery shells and some fucking hardwire you could buy at, Best Buy or whatever, or Lowe's or Home Depot." And they just took out and murdered 7 guys, 6, 7 guys, and destroyed $10 million with some Korean War era artillery shells and some fucking wiring from your local hardware store. This stuff isn't new. And the guys I was talking to were like, "Wow, we didn't know that." And and I'm not, bitching at them. I'm just like totally upset that the Pentagon didn't think of this. It was like Vietnam all over. Your leadership in the Pentagon is fucking worthless. Seriously. Wow. Wow, man. That this shit has been done before. Shall I go back to, and I will, if you want, go back to Lexington and Concord and what they did to the British on the way back? Holy shit. This isn't new. I mean, literally, they killed this dude and sent him back to the royal family. Wow. Our leadership in this country, even in the Pentagon, is total shit. When a dipshit like me knows what's coming. And I've never been in the military. Seriously, never been in the military. I'm not one of those stolen valor assholes. And I know what's coming. And 3, 2, 3, 4-star generals didn't? This is bullshit. Our leadership in the country, from our elected government to the people in the Pentagon, are fucking shit. Sorry. And by the way, both of them agreed. All right. So this was a little, down a side street bitching because I hung out with some dudes that I totally respect. All right. I love you guys and have a good day. And if not, I hope it gets better. All right. God bless and take care. Bye.